Jungkook stood at the backside of a girl's dormitory, back against the wall and hands dug in his pockets as he waited quietly. The windows slid open from the upper floor. A bag dropped right at his feet, urging him to move off the wall. The next thing was a girl landing right in his arms. Jungkook, you have turned lighter than before. Don't fly away someday instead of landing in my arms. Wine. Finally, I'll be free from you then. She got down on her feet, picking up the bag. He grabbed her wrist and quietly led them out of the dorms, where his bike awaited them both. They have done this a whole lot of times. He would help her escape the dorm after the 10 p.m. roll call. She trusted him enough to jump in his arms from the height, and he always got them out safely like a responsible man. Jungkook, I swear, if you pulled that stupid move from last time, he put the helmet on her head, fastening the belt, making sure it was secure. Wyan, oh, I will, and you cannot stop me. She stuck out her tongue, getting on behind him. He groaned, yet started the bike while she hugged his waist. Apparently, Wine drank last time enough to walk up to a random person and asked him to marry her. The worst thing was that creep agreed about to put her hands on Wyan, and Jungkook had to break his teeth. Jungkook and Wyan were friends since the last years in high school. They got quite close and ended up in the same college. While their daily routine was quite hectic, so they escaped at night to enjoy the life a little. She pulled back, throwing one arm up in the air, and Jungkook held her other hand wrapped around him to keep her safe all the time, while letting her enjoy without any fear. He stopped the bike by Hand River, where people came to enjoy the view. There were a few stalls of sweet potatoes, corn, ice cream, and cotton candy. A few people, few families, and a few kids to enjoy the evening. Vine got down the bike and removed the helmet, and so did Jungkook. She fixed her hair and leant her back against the bike while Jungkook kept sitting but with both legs on one side. Vine, look at that. Definitely your kid. She pointed at one kid pulling onto his father's hair, throwing a tantrum while crying on top of his lungs. Jungkook, looks more of your copy to me. Vine, when did I do that? She hit his chest and he chuckled and shrugged. Vine, get me that. She pointed at cotton candy and he jumped down the bike, walking over to buy it for her. She loved sweet and relaxing moments like this in her stressful life. Her hair flew and she hugged herself as she watched Jungkook paying up for her cat and brought it back to her. On the way, two girls stopped him asking for his number. Why inside? He really was that handsome to attract all the attention of his surroundings. He refused politely, and when they insisted, he told them he had a girlfriend, pointing at Ryan. Ryan glared at those girls and they backed away. As soon as Jungkook returned, she held his arm, sticking up to him. Ryan, where were you, boyfriend? Don't talk to other girls. You know, I get so jealous, boyfriend. You're only mine, okay, Mr. Boyfriend? Jungkook gave her a disgusted look, and she laughed, snatching her cotton candy from him, and took a bite. If he attracted everyone around him, how could you think he has not attracted Ryan, like a moth to a flame, several times till now? Jungkook, please, never try acting. People will be traumatized. Ryan, jealous people and their weak tactics to bring down the world. He groaned and looked away towards the sea. Their hands were touching as they were on the bike beside each other. They might be really close to each other, but her touch pulled the strings of his heart. Wine ate the candy, and once she was done, she wiped her lips with the tissue, then took out a small mirror and her lip balm and applied it on her lips. Jungkook, which one is this? He took it from her and smelled it. Jungkook, smells good. Mind if I taste it? Wine. Fine. But don't ruin it. I love this one. Wine tapped her fingers against her lips, setting the balm, looking in the mirror, and the next moment, Jungkook held her cheek and kissed her. Her eyes widened up out of shock, and the mirror fell off her hand. She was too startled at his sudden move. His hand slid from her cheek to the nape of her neck, and he pulled back, enough to see her wide open eyes. Jungkook, it's good. Makes me want to taste it all over again. He whispered against her lips. Ryan, give me a warning next time. She didn't reject, and it encouraged him to step closer. Jungkook, like this? He asked when his lips were barely touching hers. Ryan, like this. He kissed her again, and this time she replied to it by kissing back and wrapped her arms around his neck. He placed her on top of the bike and stood in between her legs, kissing her deeply. When they pulled back, she rested her forehead against his chest. Ryan, somehow, I don't want that kid to be like your future child anymore. Jungkook smiled, getting the meaning, and stroked her hair. It was like his feelings now laying bare in front of her. He had plans of proposing her after college, but he couldn't wait anymore. Not tonight. Every night, in fact. When they step out, he wanted to hold her hand and pull her in his arms. Tonight, he could. Jungkook, you're mine now, Miss Girlfriend. I hope you know what that means. Ryan, not so gentleman of you not to propose, Mr. Boyfriend. Jungkook, I would, and I want to do it best. The lady in my arms deserves all that. She felt warm and fuzzy, peace in her heart, as the two stayed there wrapped in each other's arms. and watched the view together, accepting where their hearts brought them.